guys, welcome back to FemTalk, episode 4, hosted by me, your girl, Katrina. As you guys know, FemTalk is our safe space where we highlight individuals from the LGBTQ plus community, and we talk about various things from our relationships, what we deal with in society, and just the obstacles that we go through living in our truth. Today, we have another super dope episode. We'll be talking about Femmes and Studs, and we're going to elaborate on that just a little bit later. But I do have a super dope guest that I would love to introduce you guys to, who goes by the name of Amber Moore. Amber, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
Hi, guys. Again, my name's Amber Moore. I am the executive director of Real Boys Talk. And so what that is a nonprofit organization that is focused on African-American, masculine identified gay females, health and wellness. We do some programmings with our LGBT fraternities that are out there, Greek lettered fraternities, to kind of do some mentoring. We talk about image. We give, as you have given a safe space for Femmes, we give a safe space for studs. It's called Shooting the Shit. And we just kind of have these same kind of conversations and try to more or less get ourselves together and talk about some things that we as studs need to, instead of looking at each other across the room like we don't know each other and mean mugging. We're trying to break that, and break those stereotypes that are out there. So basically that's what Real Boys Talk does. And we're hoping to do more programming and also talk more about breast cancer and cervical cancer and get people some help.
That is actually really, really amazing. I really love that you touched on the whole, because I mean, granted, I'm not a stud, but I know what it's like for studs to not like other studs just for like whatever unwritten reason, like they be beefing and I'm like, y'all could be cool, but so that's really dope. Do you guys touch on like mental health as well?
Yes, most definitely. And that's one of the things I think that is very hard. First of all, it's very hard for studs to even open up to each other because, as the rumor is, many, many moons ago, somebody looked at somebody's girl and then it got, and so now we've never been right. Never, ever since kind of concept. So it has always been that. And it's very hard for us to, as studs, to open up. People, and everybody's saying, well, you can't be friends with each other. What we can. And some of these Greek lettered fraternities are showing that brotherhood and showing that there can be that bond amongst studs. And I start with them because they do have that platform to be mentors and to open up and to show that we can be all, we can be inclusive and we can be with each other and we can have good conversations and we can help each other.
I definitely agree. Look, is there a fraternity for Femmes?
Because of course, there are many sororities out there that are Greek lettered sororities that are for the lesbian community, whether you are, whether you carry a label or not. So they are definitely out there.
Well, I'm gonna have to look into that because I didn't get to go to college and join a sorority, but I got the heart. So look, I'll get in line real quick.
That's what matters. It's the heart. I'm gonna tell you, that's what they're looking for is ladies like you who have the heart. So definitely, and you don't have, and again, they are collegiate. A lot of them are, most of them are not, non-collegiate. So you don't have to have gone to college to be a part of their organization, but you do need to have that heart, and so you'll be perfect.
I got that, and I got the move, so we good. Amber, I have a drink of choice right now. Don't judge because I'm at the bottom of the barrel, but do you have something to take a sip with me?
I do. I am not drinking tonight in the alcohol form, but I am doing Ray's energy drink because I have lots of work to do tonight. So
look, whoever floats your boat and gets the work done.
There you go. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a little bit. Okay, this is so. This brings me back because I don't drink this often, but when you ain't, it's a good backup to have when you don't have any alcohol. Just break the Crown Royal out. But this definitely reminds me of Jill Scott, baby. If y'all don't know about Jill Scott Crown Royal, please go look up that. It's a vibe. It be on repeat for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour myself a little shot.
You go right ahead.
Please don't think I'm unprofessional, y'all drinking on the job. This is
the fun part of drinking on the job. This is why we do what we do, so we can drink on the job. That's what this is. Yes, drink on. No. That's what we do.
Now, I've also got some apple juice, so cheers for FemTalk and having you as a guest today. Thank you so much for being here.
All right.
Wow. Any dark liquor y'all is just that girl, if you guys didn't know. But we have a couple of trending topics that I definitely want to jump into today. So, did you get a chance to check out Niecy Nash and her now wife, the cover? They did the cover of Essence.
Yes, I am. I'm gonna tell you. I'm excited. I was very excited. I will say this. Not that I love the fact that they were together. So you showed Essence got an opportunity to show us as Black lesbians in the most intimate form.
Yeah, definitely.
Like what I'm gonna ask Essence to do now is start putting the masculines on your cover by ourselves. Give us our opportunity, not just because we have a wife. And I'm not saying that because Jessica can stand on her own. Please note, she's got that. When I tell you the musician, if you have not heard her music, check her music out. It is amazing. It is amazing. So she can stand on her own. She didn't, and I say that in effect, she didn't need, Niecy Nash to really truly be who she is.
Right.
Niecy didn't need her. So that's why I like that couple. I truly do like that couple because they didn't need the fame that each other has, but I like the genuineness, the authenticity, I can't talk, that they actually carry. But I really did. I liked it. I took it as a win. I took it as, hey, that's ours, Yeah. And I hope they do more.
I do too. I thought it was actually really beautiful because although I think they've been together for maybe about a year or so now, maybe a little bit longer.
I think it was before COVID. So we're going to say probably a little bit longer.
About like a good 2 years. So
yeah.
I liked it just because I love how Niecy Nash just came out the gate. And even though we never knew that she was a part of the community, because I believe she was married before, she came out like wholeheartedly when she started dating Jessica, like with no, I guess, shame, you could say, because sometimes it is harder to go from being in the heterosexual community and then coming from a heterosexual marriage to like, hey, look, I like women now, because so many people probably had so much to say. So when I saw the cover, I actually looked at it again today. I was like, they are just so beautiful. And it warms my heart to see, like you said, the genuineness of their relationship, because they didn't need each other. So I thought it was great. For anybody who hasn't checked out the cover of Essence that they're on, please do, because it's beautiful. She got Jessica laying on her chest, and I was just like, this is so intimate and so sweet. And
now can I ask a question?
Of course.
As a feminine woman being a lesbian, you were not offended that this straight woman all of a sudden got with a stud? Because that's the thing now, is that a lot of straight women are now pursuing studs, and I hear a lot of feminine women having issues about that. And I'm not saying her, and
right, but just I mean, I agree, because I'm not going to hold you. I think it depends on like the scenario, because I have a couple of friends or people that I know, I can't really call them friends, acquaintances and things of that sort, that are quote unquote straight women, but then they'll try to go mess with a stud or just mess with other women in general. It doesn't have to necessarily be a stud, to experiment. And that is what I don't like. It's like, you can to each own. If Niecy Nash came out, maybe she always liked women, maybe she just never acted on it, and then she just wasn't happy and she met this woman and she was like, you know what, no more. But it's the women that are like, oh, I'm not really gay, but we'll mess with a girl and like lead her on. Like, that's what I don't like. If you're going to be bisexual, then admit that. Don't sit up here and say that I'm a straight woman, but you got this stud in love with you because you're literally leading her on. Like, I can't get jiggy with that. But I love to see women together. So it's like, if a straight woman meets another woman and it just sparks that spark in her, I'm happy for her,
Okay. So, I was very curious, because I know, a lot of feminine women that are lesbians were like a little bit they're not with Niecy Nash and Jessica's relationship, but are taken back with the amount of straight women that are now pursuing studs, or studs pursuing straight women now.
Yeah.
And so I was wondering about that.
In itself, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. No, you did fine.
It is funny though, when you think about it though, because I mean, granted, I'm sure there's a lot more women now, straight women that are pursuing studs, but what is it about studs in general going after straight women? What's up with that?
Okay, so I can't speak for all. So,
Mhm.
and please understand, I talk mad shit. So,
Okay.
um, I'm just putting that out. That's my disclaimer for the day. Um, Here's the thing. A lot of times, and I've noticed this, and I can't say it's a lot of them, but a lot of films now are on this thing of um wanting to, I guess, and I don't know what this is, so bear with me, slut out a stud. I don't know what that is, but I hear it a lot. And it apparently is apparently it's not something we really want to happen to us. I don't know. Um, but I think a lot of the feminine women are into um are more of trying to get that toxic masculinity taken down a notch or so. And to prove to us that we're women. We already know we're women. Okay. We don't need you to, you know, tell us it, we know this. And I think that when we get with, I'm assuming when you get with a straight woman, she's allowing you to be as masculine as you want to be. Whereas maybe that femme lesbian won't allow you to go there because she's like, oh, wait, you don't want to be that masculine. I don't want I don't want you to be that masculine because then then that means you're trying to be a man. And people have to understand that femininity and masculinity have nothing to do with male or female. You know what I'm saying? So that's my perception on why all of a sudden you have a lot of studs that are possibly going towards straight women. And I mean, and I also think that there's maybe it could be that their demand is less. Feminine lesbians are y'all are demanding. But what black woman ain't demanding in my book?
Yeah, like, exactly. Straight women,
Yeah.
black, whatever you want to call it, she gonna be right there. Like, you need to do this too.
Y'all are a lot. I mean, I'm a black woman, so I'm gonna tell you, we a lot. I know I'm a lot, so I know if a feminine woman, she's a lot, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think that there's some studs that might not be up for that. Then they don't know how to handle it, or they're not prepared. You know what I'm saying? They don't know how to handle a truly strong, well-driven woman, and they might get a straight woman that they can I don't want to say it like this, but digmatize a little bit, put something on them that they've never experienced. Because straight women are saying to the world, especially, I mean, and I'm not gonna say it's a black or white thing, but straight women are saying, look, an orgasm is a rarity in my world. And lesbian women are saying, oh, I just had, it happens, it's on and popping. And
Yeah.
so the difference,
That makes sense though. You know what? You inspired me to write a book, Femmes 101, and how to handle them. So, we can get our
please,
back.
I need that book. Please.
Look, you
Please
know what?
write that book.
To be continued. We gonna touch back on that. But that was some really good insight. It definitely got me thinking. That brings me to though, I'm sure that you saw it, everybody saw it. It was the topic of the day. But Brat and Judy's wedding. Now, I have a question because for the long time, I mean, we always knew Debrat. I mean, I would like to say lesbian. I hope that is her title. I'm not sure exactly what she identifies as, but when she came out, baby, we knew. Even though she didn't officially come out until a couple of years ago. And I know now she has her reality show with Judy. Big ups to them. But it's just funny because Brat to me presents more masculine. So even though I thought she looked beautiful on her wedding day, I did not expect her to be in her dress. I thought she was going to be suited and booted in a suit with her face beat and hair done. So what was your take on, or how do you feel overall about her basically tapping into her femininity and masculinity at the same time?
I think it's okay because here's the thing. First of all, there are no rules.
Right.
There's no rules to being a masculine identified gay female, despite what people are trying to put out there. But with her, I think there's a little girl and a lot of us, period, that have that idea wedding. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're marrying a woman or you're marrying a man, you might, some of us, I don't have that, my ideal wedding, I'm in a suit. But I could have another friend of mine that's a masculine and her concept is just like that, to be in that dress, because that's your day. That's you. I mean, that's a major day for you and a milestone in your life. I think you know what? I'm like you. I always knew. So it was not, it's like, okay, Brad, whenever you really want to tell the world, you are, but when you really want to come tell the world, okay. But I thought it was great. I thought it was a beautiful ceremony. I thought it was great. I mean, both of them, fabulous.
Yes.
I mean, for a wedding day, that's that's an important day to women. Whether you are a masculine woman or a feminine woman. So I give them kudos to being true to who they wanted to be on that day, to each other, for each other. So, yeah.
And you're right. It's funny because I feel like nowadays, and this is definitely something that's really good for us to touch on, but I think people, I don't want to say they look down on studs tapping into their femininity as well, but it's kind of like taboo to some people. Like there's a girl right now who one of my friends was telling me that they follow her like on Snapchat, and she's a stud. She has a bald fade and she presents masculine. Like she dresses baggy jeans, boxers, sports bras and all that. But at the same time, she shows off a lot of her body, or like sometimes she will pop out like in a thong in her sports bra or whatever. And my friend is like, oh, I think that's weird. And I'm like, I think like it's okay, because at the end of the day, like she's still a woman, but I get why to some people it may seem like crazy, because maybe they're putting them in that box. Oh, you're a stud, you're supposed to look like this, dress like this. So it's almost crazy when they see a stud like Brad have makeup and a dress on, or like the girl on Snapchat like in a thong, when she's still a woman entitled to doing that. So what is your take on that?
You know what? I'm gonna say it like this: like the older studs that came before us, they could not wear a suit, a men's suit. They had to wear women's clothing to be as masculine as they could. They couldn't go get them some wingtips like some people do or whatever. They had to wear the women's shoes. They broke a lot of those things so that my generation and the generation of the younger studs that are out there open the door, be who you want to be. I'm not going to get a lace front, but if I have a best friend and she want to get a lace front, she'll say, by all means, do what you do. If you want to get locked, yes, exactly. If you're going to get it, rock it. Don't play with it.
Yeah.
I know studs that do wear makeup, that's what they do. And it doesn't mean they're less of a stud. Okay. If I'm secure in who I am, it doesn't matter what other people around me are doing. I look at myself and I'm a very masculine stud. Mm-hmm. Okay. There are studs that are even more masculine than I am. Okay. But you're not going to see me in a sports bra and some little underwear, because I'm fat. I got some weight on me. That's how I look at it. I ain't got that body like they got. I'm jealous sometimes. Like, darn, I wish I could wear some stuff like that. But that's not me. That's not my persona. That's not who I am. So I look at it like this. I'm all for supporting. If whatever your definition of your masculinity is, by all means, rock it. And who am I to tell you that you're not a stud? That's not right. And that's one of the things that, like with Real Boys Talk, that's the last thing that we just did. We're running for the up until April is this thing called #Let'sMentor. And that's what it is. It's trying to get studs to understand we have to mentor each other. It doesn't matter what my age is. I'm an older stud, but in my fraternity, I have a collegiate division. Mm-hmm. And my collegiate division, those are 18, 19, 20-year-olds. I have learned more from them, listening to them, talking to them, and they've learned some stuff from me. That's how this is supposed to be, and it doesn't matter to me how they, if they want to wear a dress, sometimes you need that in your, if you feeling it, feel it,
The balance, especially if you, like you said, if you feel that way, you feel it. So to our viewers out there, I definitely want you guys to drop a comment below. Let us know what you guys think, especially on that topic specifically. I would love to hear some of your input. But I do want to take it back just a little bit, because we talk a lot about femmes and studs. And personally, I don't really know where that originated. So where did the term femme and stud originate from?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't know. I know that I've just learned that stud is a term that is strictly for African American and possibly people of color. But
Oh,
when it
really?
comes to when it comes to our white counterparts, they are not to utilize. It's kind of like it's not for them to use. And I think it's because white our white masculine females used butch and dyke. They identified more with that verbiage. And then I also think
Mm-hmm.
it's an area thing. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's called Butch Voice. It happens on the West Coast every other year, and I've gone to it. It is majority of it is white. Most they are very happy to be called Butch and Dykes. The thing is that in on the West Coast you will hear masculine of center, and
Okay.
also in the North you'll hear masculine of center. You don't hear that much in the South. You hear stud more in the South. I think you also see more of that role, those labels and roles in the relationships more in the South. I have seen it more in the South. I'll put
Mm-hmm.
it that way. And when it comes to other areas, it's not as strong. But I think that it is, I always say it's not your label that you carry, it's the definition in which you kind of kind of like kind of flow to, you
Right.
know? Because you can't use the word dom as much because there are femmes that say I'm a dominant femme. And
Right.
so, you can't really say I'm a dom like I know dating myself back in the 90s, the late 90s, it was, dom was what we used, but now it is a femme will use that word as well. So I think you have to look at I think it's more or less the definition of where you feel comfortable at. And then
Okay.
there's that middle ground, and that's okay.
Yeah, it is. And that's like actually like really insightful because I didn't know that. I thought all across the board, no matter what age, race, or brand you whatever you want to call yourself, that if you're more masculine presenting, the word is stud. So that's really cool. But it's funny because you brought up the word. I've actually heard butch before. It's little tidbit. When I came out to my dad, all of my partners have been masculine presenting, and he said something to me when I was like, I think I was like 18, and he was like, and you got this butch girl. And I was like, I got a what? And then I realized like what he was trying to say. Like, so it's funny. So I've heard that, but the word dyke, it's hard for me because from where I'm from, there's a lot of like negative connotation with the word dyke. Like it's almost like a disrespectful term if
Mhm.
you say, oh, you're a dyke to somebody. So it's not like that everywhere else then, based on
No,
what you're.
yeah, and what's interesting, like queer, you know, years
Yeah.
ago, queer was bad. You did not want to be associated with the word queer. Queer was, like being called the dyke.
Mhm.
Now, and I say this in effect of the younger generation, they've embraced it. They're okay with being called queer. They're okay with being called dykes. And I think that to me means that we're evolving,
Right.
you know,
We
and
should,
I think that's fine, you know.
as we should. So then, if we were going to define a femme and or a stud, a femme would obviously just be me, a feminine presenting woman, and a stud would be more of a masculine presenting woman. Correct? In your
Correct.
opinion? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. So for anybody who didn't know, that's
There you
that's
go.
what that is.
Very
But
much so.
the way society views femmes and studs, how do you think, or what do you think the difference is between the two, even though we're all women?
Feminine women can go anywhere, everywhere, and no one knows that you're gay. Like
That's
you
true.
go wherever you want, and no one will ever go, she's gay. I walk in the room, it's like having, I got a sign up. They're like, yeah, there she is. There goes the stud, or there goes the dyke. We know who you are. And I was just telling my mom that a lot of us, because we are masculine presenting, will not go into black girl magic spaces. Even though we're black women, we
Mhm.
won't go into those spaces. Whereas you, as a black lesbian, you're a black woman, and that's what they see. They would never even think, unless you said my partner, my girlfriend, just dropped me off, or my girlfriend this. No one would ever know that. And so you, as a feminine woman or feminine presenting, you are able to go anywhere and no doors are closed outside of the fact of you being a Black woman. I, on the other hand, have to deal with, I'm a Black woman, I'm Black, I'm a woman, and then on top of that, I'm masculine. So I close a lot of doors and have to fight just a little bit harder because I have that little extra on me. But you guys have it easy. Other than you still get hit on by men, and I don't know how, most lesbians don't like that. But outside of that, go anywhere. No one would ever know.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that because it does seem like it's easier, but then that comes along with this is something I actually I touched on in the first episode of FemTalk, where yes, it may be easier, but we do have the issue of we do get hit on by men, and then people don't believe us. Like it's like I almost have to, like, you walk in a room. Right. People see you for who you are. You don't have to identify who you are because, yeah, they may shut the door because they already see that. And you have to fight a little bit harder to get in there. Whereas me, I can walk in there and then they find out. And then it's like weird for them. Like, oh, you like women? Oh, or some grinds my gears when men are like, well, you just ain't been with the right man. And some hit it right. Like, no, that's not the case. And then I have to plead my case as to why I am a lesbian and why you shouldn't be trying to tell me otherwise, So I guess it's its own struggle in itself, not being able to.
But we have it too. We have it too. So when and this is the thing, when it comes to, it's like Black men will still hit on me and I'm like, do you not? Okay, come on, dude. Look at all this. I mean, big old boy, and they'll be like, nah, you just ain't had the right dick. And I'm like, sir, what do you know about this? I'm like, you coming to me like I ain't had, I'm like, and so you have, tell me about that, and then they're like, no, don't get, don't close up now. But I get hit on because I can change you. I can introduce you, make you a woman. I'm already a woman, but I do understand that you guys will get hit on possibly a lot more, and the challenge. And I think that the rudeness, I can cut the rudeness off very quickly. I think that a lot of men keep pushing that button with feminine women because they're like, nah, you ain't really down like that, are you? Yeah. Well, let me sit with you. Let me go. Hey, I'm a lesbian too. You get all of that. And
okay,
disrespectfulness, it's super disrespectful. And I'm like, come on, guys, you got to do better. But I do totally, I understand that piece of it. But a lot of us get that as well.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't want to say it's good to know, but at least it ain't just us,
Not alone.
I will say, any men out there, please stop doing that. Like, if a woman tells you she's a lesbian, whether she's lying or not, let that girl be. Because I've actually been in a situation where a man not only just kept trying and trying and trying, like he got mad. And it was almost like a scary situation because I felt like he was getting so mad to the point where, was he going to do something to me? Because I don't know if it hurts their pride or their ego to know that they do lose women to other women, but it is what it is. Like he could have kept it pushing to the next girl, and he didn't do that. So please don't be that guy. Please don't be that guy.
They get angry, and they will. Honestly, they have pushed them. They have pushed over the top and done some things that are not cool at all. And invading people. Don't invade people's space, whether COVID was here or not. Don't invade people's space. But they have, and I think that is the rudeness of it. But I tell all women, you got to protect yourselves no matter what. Whether you're straight or gay, you got to make sure you protect yourself when you're out by yourselves or with your girlfriends. Y'all make sure y'all stay in a group, and you still have to do those things. You have to do it more so, I think, nowadays than ever.
Yeah. And ladies, if you guys don't, go get you a little pocket knife on Amazon. They got those, I don't know what they're called. I think they're like little kits that you can buy to put on your, has like a little screw. I'd have to put the link in the bio for y'all. But there's lots of different ways to protect yourself, ladies. So please do so. Like Amber said, especially in times like this, people crazy, y'all. So yes. But I did want to just touch on something we talked about a little bit earlier, because you were saying something about the older generation and how they kind of like set the tone for your generation and then the now generation. So what do you think the major differences are between older studs and younger studs?
I'm seeing a lot of, and I watch a lot of TikTok videos. I originally got on it when COVID came because it was funny. It's not funny no more. It's not as funny as it used to be. It's a lot of hate. I mean, honestly, it's a lot of hate on this particular app. Whether you're black or white, or you're a stud, young or old, and I'm finding older studs really being ugly to the younger studs, saying you're not a stud if you wearing panties, you're not a stud if you getting strapped, you're not a stud. And my thing is this: what you do in your bedroom, that is your business,
right?
Okay? If you're not doing it with me, then it ain't got nothing to do with me. And when you come out your room, that's on you, And I feel like a lot of times these older studs that have these issues with the younger studs really need to look at themselves, because there's something that they're not secure with their own masculinity. Like I literally, like I tell people, 2020 came. I broke with my girlfriend in 2019. And it wasn't a bad thing, because it was basically we had wrong titles. We are best friends, and that's how it should have been and stayed. And so when I realized that, we changed our relationship a little bit. So when 2020 came in, COVID hit. Now, COVID did some horrible things to a lot of families, but what it also did is it made us sit in our shit. Okay?
It did.
It made you really look at who you were. And for me, it made me understand what I like and what I don't like. As studs, we all can tell you what we don't like. Very few can tell you what they do like. And that's the thing, is that I think you're finding these older studs they're questioning their own selves, because they're like, okay, I can't like that. I can't like that. I can't like that. But the younger generation's like, I like it all. They're willing to be open. They're willing to, if they want to wear the strap or be strapped, they're like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
And that's fine. It doesn't take anything away from me, because I don't like doing it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that is the thing that's happening right now, is we're having to really look at the fact that studs there's no handbook. Right. There's no rules. The biggest rule that there is to being a stud is respect. Okay. And that means I need to respect the next person, whether they're older than me, the same age I am, or younger than me. That's the only rule that there is in this playbook. Other than that, be who you want to be. And I think for some of us older studs, we really need to look at the who we are and be secure in who we are. Because I think some of those younger kids, their masculinity is really messing with some of these older, studs, and how they feel about themselves. Like, maybe you taking my power. No, they're not.
Yeah. And it's you made a really good statement about having to sit with yourself, and maybe that's what it is, because like when you think about different generations, like even our parents, it's hard for them to relate to the things that we go through now, because they're stuck in what was, so I feel like it could be that for older sets too. This is all the unwritten rules. You have to be masculine presenting. You can't do X, Y, and Z. So they're stuck in that. And like you said, this new generation, baby, 1994 babies and up, they're just so free with everything. So it kind of shakes up older studs, in my opinion, thinking like, well, damn, like you get to do all of this and be all of that. And maybe it's not something that I agree with, because that's not what I know from my time, but they have to be open to and willing to accept it. So I agree.
I mean, like, studs having babies. I have a 25-year-old son. I adopted him, but you can't tell me that's not my baby. You know what I'm saying? I just needed somebody to carry him, but that's mine. He's always been mine. 6 weeks before he came into this world, breathing the air, he was mine. Right. But I have a friend now. She's married, and she chose to want to be pregnant. She is the masculine in the relationship. That's beautiful. I'm excited for her. You know what I'm saying? She wants to be a mommy or a mom, or whichever it is. I think that's great, because she again, we are still women.
Yes.
I still function as that. No matter how masculine I get, I still function. Now, there are some studs that don't want to do that. That's what's so beautiful about us. We have choices. There's options. And the studs that came before us, like Gladys Bentley, she was a blues singer in the Harlem Renaissance time period. She wore tuxedos, top hat. She let you know, no, I don't want to be a man, but I'm going to embrace my masculinity and I'm going to be who I want to be. She allowed us today for do whatever we got. You know, she broke those glass ceilings so we can do whatever we want to do. And I think it's great. I think that studs that want to have children, by all means, do you. I think it's beautiful because I think we can be parents, you know.
I agree, though. And it's funny because a lot of people have so much to say about studs who carry. But again, like you keep saying, you guys are still women. So I hate when people are like, well, that's just so crazy that she wanted to have the baby. Baby girl, she's still a woman. She still got ovaries. She still has
they feel that. Yeah, they want to be, they have that motherly desire.
Yeah.
Go ahead, do it. You know, and here's the catch. It is not our business if you do it the natural way, or you went and picked up something, at the sperm bank. That's not our business. Our business is to support you in entering motherhood and being the best mother that you can be, and being your cheerleader on the side of the bench going, you can do this. You know what I'm saying? And if we rally around each other like that, there's nothing we can't do as studs. And we can be better studs to the women that we're trying to be with. That is my main thing, because a lot of us, I'm going to tell you, a lot of us have no idea what the word intimacy means. We have no clue. And it is not fair that we have to rely on our feminine women to teach us how to even love you guys. We should understand that more than anybody,
I know. Because that's something I'm going through right now. And I'm just like, but it's so funny. Can we talk about that for a second? Because
yes,
it blows my mind, that even though I choose to partner with or talk to more masculine presenting women, at the end of the day, I always think to myself, well, you're a woman. So why is it that you don't understand how I feel or my feelings? Or why is it so hard for you to put yourself in my shoes when I feel like we low-key you should be thinking the same? But it doesn't really work that way. And I do find myself, like, almost every stud or masculine presenting woman I've been with, I've literally had to teach them how to love me properly, softly, out loud.
I knew some stuff, right? And my last two relationships, my last relationship was like the icing. It's almost like it's so sad. Even though she's my best friend, so she'll understand when I say this. She is the one who did all this work for some woman to benefit from.
Right.
And her biggest thing was, it's not the big things, Amber. It's the little bitty things. And I kept going, no, it's not. I gotta do this big elaborate thing. And she was like, no, it's the little things. And now I get it. And, and that's why I said 2020, I sat and I realized, one, what kind of woman I want, because I'm not looking to date. I'm not looking for girlfriend. I'm looking for my wife. I'm looking for my unicorn. She's out there. I know she's out there somewhere. And that's what I'm looking for. But I had to learn. I had to go back and I had to sit and I had to go through every relationship. And I had to go, ooh, that was my fault. Damn, I did that. Oh, okay. But they caused this. Okay. But I reacted. I literally went and did that. And when you do that, I actually I really honestly can say, I'm now ready for the next phase, right? I now will be the right person for that right woman. I'm a lot, so I'm not for everybody. I had to realize that too. And I also had to realize that, and this might be a lot of studs, we dim our light because we are afraid of vulnerability. See, I'm gonna give here's the example. We are under the assumption that when you have to go for your yearly checkup and put your legs in a little stirrup, y'all are okay with that because y'all are femmes. Y'all can handle it. You're femmes. It's like you're born with it. You go, oh, I'm a femme. You understand. You don't have no anxiety. You make the appointment. Yes, I'm going. Oh, I'm so happy. We assume that. We assume that. But for us,
happy.
But for us, it's nothing like that. It is stressful. But we don't realize that it might be stressful for you guys too. But for masculine identified, because we're so busy trying to build that wall and be that masculine, oh, I'm masculine, I ain't got to take this shit. We don't want to be that vulnerable. We don't want that vulnerability. We want it, but we don't want it because we're afraid. And this is happening. Okay, it's happening to some because we're seeing it. Where if I'm vulnerable with you and I show intimacy with you and I open up, you go and you tell everybody. Yeah, I slutted her out. All right, I did this to her and I had her weeping and she was crying. And guess what happens? Then we go, oh hell. And then we start building that wall back up again. And then the next woman that comes along, we are an a-hole. Total a-hole to that woman. And it could be the right one. And that's the unfortunate part. So I feel like, I think a lot of what you're finding is, and I'm not saying all studs, because I think we're starting to evolve. I see a lot more of us evolving to being able to trust. That's the other thing, is to trust that woman that she's not going to go call, girl, whoo, that was not big dick energy, and not tell on us, and I use that word because I don't know what our version is of it. But I don't know y'all's lingo in the private room that y'all, because I heard y'all got a little, little group that y'all have conversation, girl, this, so I don't know. But and I think that's the thing, is that I think we're starting to evolve so that we can build that. But it is that thing of no longer are we doing that, I meet you today and I marry you tomorrow. We are really looking for that healthy relationship. And I think there's more of us that are looking for that.
Well, Lord knows, because there needs to be more of y'all looking for that, because that whole building that wall up and not being able to tap in, especially, when you have that right woman who's there and who's, I don't know, just down for you and really just does everything you need, but you got that wall up. It's like, what's the point of it?
Be patient. Be patient. So, I'm gonna tell you, I say this to anybody who's listening, any femme that is listening, if you got a stud that gets up every morning and can look you in the eye, if y'all live together, let's just say y'all live together, and look you in the eye and don't even, she just do this, and she go to work, keep her, because she just don't know, she just needs you just to keep rolling with her. Now, if you got a woman that you wake up every morning and she says, good morning, every morning, she own it, and she's trying to be patient, okay. She will get there, and I promise you, we're worth it. We are really worth it. It's just we got some damage, we come with some luggage. I'm trying to get rid of, right now I have got rid of a lot of my luggage, so I come with a backpack now that just has a little bit of stuff in it, yeah, not that backpack. I'm like the kids nowadays. Somebody said we're not doing backpacks for those anymore. We're actually bringing our briefcases because we're here for business. So yes. I said, okay. So, but yes, I'm telling you, if you find a good stud that has a dream to own a home, to own some shit, that stand, like if you say, baby, I want to have a business, and they say, okay, that's a winner right there. Keep her. That just means she just need a little, little polish, and you can work with that. You can work with that.
I can work with that. I can work with that. Okay, well, I'm gonna take your advice, Amber. I'm gonna be patient, and all out there, femmes and or studs, because there's definitely stud for stud and femme for femme. Be patient. Don't be like me, y'all, trying to rush everything, and So thank you for that advice, Amber. I just want to pick your brain a little bit though. What do you think that is the main things that femmes and studs complain about? Whether that be like about each other or just general, I know there's this whole gender role thing we've got going on. A lot of studs feel like I don't want to say a lot. Some are like, I'm about to take out the trash or whatever the case may be. So what are your thoughts on that?
Okay. So I have heard femmes talk about that we have one sports bra.
Do y'all got one sports?
I don't, but apparently some people do. And I also personal hygiene. Mm-hmm. Some of these studs forget that they need to. I love to bathe. I hate to say it like that, but I love it. I mean, because for me, I like to smell good. So I'm willing to do all those things. Now I'm a little lazy on the haircut here and there, but I'll stay in the house for those moments. But overall, I think that is what the biggest complaints that I've heard from femmes is that a lot of us are not on point with our personal hygiene. And sadly enough, some of these femmes are having to teach these studs how to have personal hygiene. And I think that's really bad. I think that if I'm a grown woman, I should know, first of all, I should know my body. And I should know what my body, you know, we all change. Everybody's got a different pH balance. And as women, our pH balance goes all the time. It's changing. You got to know your body. And I think there's a lot of studs that overlook that because I'm a masculine. No, that if you, and I'm being real when I say this, if you don't take care of that femme body, that masculine goes out the window.
Yeah.
Okay? And that means you take heed to know your body. If you know your body's off, like feminine women know when their body's off. Y'all pay so much attention that you'll go, oh, I should have ate that yesterday because look, now I got this issue going on, or I now, you know, I see something changing in my body habits. We as studs change that deodorant 3 times a month. In 3 months, switch up to some new deodorant because our pH balance is changing. When it comes to us, when it comes to femmes, I'm not sure if I don't know what this is, if it's a trend, but all studs don't want to be strapped down. We don't want you to strap up on us. And that's right now, that's all I'm hearing is, you know, studs, there are some studs that are into penetration. By all means, do what you do. But don't assume that every stud that you meet is into that or that you can make them into that.
Right.
You know? I think the other thing is the one other complaint that I've heard from femme women about studs is we got to stop playing with them straight girls. Because a lot of these studs think that I'm going to go get me a straight girl because then she'll do what I want her to do and all this. And then you get your feelings hurt. And now you coming back crying to the, you know, to the femmes. And they're like, I told you, keep your ass from over there. Right. You know? And so I think
break a heart quick.
And see, that's the thing. Now I'm going to say this and, you know, please don't fault me, ladies. But if you're going to go over to that arena, you are going to play in that arena. Please don't get it twisted. Now, I'm not saying all straight girls do not love a stud. Okay. My best friend, she's getting married. And it was the same kind of thing that Niecy Nash had. She saw that film, saw my best friend and said, I'm a straight girl. I ain't ever felt this way for you know, a gay woman, but you, I want you. And she was dead. And the love that they have is amazing. It happens. But we also have to understand that there are a lot of women out there that are playing. You have, whether they're straight or gay, we just have to be a little, you know, take your time. I think that's the biggest thing is don't rush. And I think that when you get with these, that is the main complaint I'm hearing from femme women that are lesbians is that we are playing with these gay women. I mean, these straight women, and then they go back to men instantly. Like they never really let go of those men. They just wanted to see what this was like because he wasn't acting right. And there's a lot of that happening. And I think that we have to be very careful. There are exceptions to every rule. But I hear more of you guys complaining about that. Like I said, the personal hygiene, and also the fact that we are not men. And I'm perfectly happy not being a man. I like being, you know, the woman that I am, but there are some studs that take it to that, you know, a little further into that being a man kind of thing. I understand that the woman that I will possibly marry right now, she is taking out her own trash. Okay. But when we get together, no, she will not take out the trash. Right. I understand I'm a woman. I got that. No, she will not open the door for me. I will open the door for her. I am traditional and old school though. Everybody's not like that, but I do tell studs, hey, it's a wonderful thing to cater to your woman because when she turns around and caters to you, it'll blow your mind. You know, right. We just have to, and it doesn't mean everybody has roles. I don't see it as roles. I see it as that's a give and take right there. I don't like laundry. So if my woman likes to do the laundry, please understand I will do, you know, I'll vacuum, clean the bathroom. You know, we'll do other stuff. You know, I'll make sure we got light bulbs or all, you know, do the light bulb thing. You know, I'll make sure that her car has gas in it. I'll make sure it's maintenance. She doesn't have to worry about that. But we have to understand that it's not so much that it's a man's role. It is just a role I don't want my woman to do.
I I agree, because again, I'm the more feminine woman. I don't mind doing those things, but I don't think it's fair when women are like, okay, you're the stud, so that means you're going to pay for everything. You're going to pay all the bills, take out the trash. You're going to drive me around, and I'm just like, but at the end of the day, she's a woman too, and I think all women want to feel spoiled or special, or like if I open the door for my stud, I don't want her to take offense to that. I want her to know it's because you do something nice for me. I could do something nice like opening your car door.
Yeah, now please understand, traditional that I am, I'm not gonna have a fallout meltdown about it. And I'm not gonna say anything to her. If she does it, she does it. But it's not something that I would be like sitting in the car going, all right, I'm waiting. I'm not gonna do her like that. She can do that to me, and I'm okay with that. The thing about paying all the time, it's hard for me to, even if she invited me out, I will still offer to pay. I'm still that, give me the check, and I do, and I've got femme friends that I go out with, and then they'll be like, no, I got it. I'll be like, no, I got it. And they'll be like, no, I got it. I asked you. And I'm like, okay.
Let's do this, please.
Yeah. So I'm learning that's just me. But I do think that it's a team effort. That's the thing we have to understand, is healthy relationships are built not so much on communication. It's built on comprehending what the communication is being said. And a healthy relationship is what we're trying to get to. So it's a team effort. Today, I took out the trash. You might say, well, look, this trash, it smells. I just put something in it. Let me go ahead and take it out because I'm not there. It is what it is. You just have to understand that you are a team. So that means that we're building something. That means and one of the things that we both sides have to understand in today's society, in this country, it's a 2 paycheck to get anywhere nowadays. If you want something, it's going to take both of you all working. And it can be the agreement that we both are working. One of us goes to school now, then we work, upgrade, then I go to school, and you want to support each other on that. Don't be so much where you don't give her time to be with her girlfriends and you time to be with your stud friends. Don't stop that.
Right.
That's when you get into these moments where, oh, well, what you doing? Why you out so late? Who you talking to? Let me see your phone.
Oh my God. Not cute, y'all. It's not cute. It's not.
It's not. I mean, and not that people are trying to hide stuff on their phone, but I'm not looking. And my uncle used to say, if you go looking for something, you will find something that you do not want to know about. And it doesn't mean that they're doing anything. It's not necessary.
Right. I do want to touch on that really quickly though, because I think that is a big problem in the community, not necessarily just with studs, but in general, because I know there's a lot of femme women, straight women who be tripping, like, especially at this big age. I'm 27. I consider myself a grown woman. So I don't like feeling like I come across partners and they are controlling, like, well, why you out with this person? And why was you out this late? And you can't talk to no nigga and this and that. And I'm just like, but why? Like, I have men friends, like I'm very much so a lesbian. So I don't understand why you're projecting onto me or why people do so, making it seem like their partners cannot have friends of the opposite sex, or they are not entitled to going out with their girlfriends and coming home at 11:30, So I think that is something that more people need to be aware of. It's like, sometimes it happens, we get to tripping a little bit, but you have to be self-conscious of how you're treating people and how you may be projecting onto them, because I know damn well that same person would not want me to sit up here and be like, well, why was you out with your homies all night? Or why did you get to go do a turnaround to Vegas but I gotta sit at home? It just make sense. It doesn't make sense.
But it's also the thing of you being out with your friends and understanding, if I'm in a relationship and my friends are not in relationships, that means that no, I cannot come home when the sun comes up.
Right.
They can, because they don't, either they are not in, committed relationships. They might be dating. That's different. I might be, if I'm in a relationship, I have to be mindful of that. Be considerate of the other person. The other thing is, I do believe, and as I've gotten older, I believe that a stud and femme can be friends. Like I said, I have 2 best friends. One is a stud and one is a femme. Mm-hmm. And they are my best friends. Now, when I was younger, no, because if that girl put me on the friend zone, I still was waiting. I was still going, I'm gonna wait here in the friend zone because eventually some gonna mess up and I'm gonna be able to go, hey, come on over here. You know, yeah, she'll move me out the friend zone. But I've gotten older now and I'm like this. You put me in the friend zone, I'm forever in the friend zone. It is what it is, and I can respect that. But I don't know if younger people are able to, or if they're doing it like mature wise. And I think that's the level. I don't think it's really an age thing. I mean, a young or old. I think it's a maturity level. Everybody cannot be friends with a stud. Because a lot of times people, that your partner that's a stud will say, they just being your friend because they waiting. And don't tell them all the stuff that's going wrong that I don't do because they're just waiting to do it. Like you say, she don't ever buy me no flowers. The next week, your work stud has bought you flowers. Don't do that. Don't. Then you wonder why you got people mad at your house.
Yeah.
But you have to be, you have to be mindful that you're in a, like, don't go all of a sudden. I've been with you for 6 months. We've been dating and everything's heated. And then all of a sudden, I'm going with my friend. Who your friend? I know all your friends.
Right.
Get all of their names to them. Now all of a sudden there's my friend. No, don't do your people like that. Whether you're a stud or femme, don't do your people like that. Because that's how you have arguments. And that's not cute. You might want to see, well, does she really love me? I'm gonna see. No, just ask her.
Yeah.
Don't try to play the games and I'm gonna test you. No, don't do that. Don't do that. And some of these pranks that people are pulling on their girlfriends, don't do that. Don't do that texting like, yeah, she's gone. No, that's how people get wounded. Yeah. That's how, you know what I'm saying? Honestly, don't do people like that.
It can go so quick. So I agree. Well, this was a really, really insightful conversation. I learned a lot from you. One thing that I'm going to take away that I want everybody else to take away is be aware of your maturity, because it is really all about maturity in relationships, and then comprehension. That was something I really, really loved that you said, because it's not even about the communication. It is about the comprehension. And I think that will take everybody far, whether you're single, dating, married, in a relationship. It's an important thing to have. So please, y'all, take heed from that, because it will probably save a lot of people in their relationships. But
I'm gonna say, if what I'm gonna say is, studs, go to, what is it, love language. If you can't figure out a woman, go figure out what your love language is. Once I figured that out, it puts a lot of stuff in place for a lot of us that are not in tune with feminine women. It will give you a lot of guidance. Seriously.
Is there a website for that? Because I know I did mine, like I just typed it in on Google and it was one website, but
I don't know which one. I don't know the name of it.
Yeah.
But I know that I just know I Googled, did exactly what you did. Just put in love language and then take the test. Yes. It's so well worth it.
Guys, do that. Again, we will, if you do it, drop it in the comments what your love language is, so that way other people can know or learn about you, and you can even just learn about yourself. Because when I figured out what my love language was, it did help me understand, oh, well, this is why I am the way that I am. So I hope that everybody else who's watching is able to do so as well. But awesome. Other than that, Amber, you were an amazing guest. Thank you so much for the conversation, the advice, the insight that you gave us today. Please let us know what your social media handles are. We will also drop that below in the bio, but go ahead and shout that out.
If you're looking for Real Boys Talk, it's realboystalk.org. That's the website. On Facebook, I believe it is Stud Health. And on Instagram, it is Real Boys Talk. And then if you're looking for me, I'm under Cupid, QPID Diamond, on Facebook, Instagram, all of those social medias. That's where you'll find me. And I'm willing, anytime somebody want to talk, I'm there.
Make sure you guys hit her. Okay. Other than that, thank you guys for tuning in to FemTalk episode 4. And make sure you guys stay tuned for episode 5 coming soon.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.